Good morning. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. It's a joy to have you with us this morning. Please rise in body and spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, The Fire of Commitment. From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living, raise a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness and the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion be to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous joys. When the fire of commitment sets our minds and souls ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
You can be seated.
Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I am Carla Tebby, a member of the Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Today, we're in person at the Admiral at the Lake, the 2U Sanctuary, and continuing to meet virtually using Zoom. We're glad you're here, whichever way you're attending. Hello? Is that better? Okay. Is it just echoing? If you're, if you're in the sanctuary and would benefit from hearing assistance, we have devices available, as well as noise-canceling headphones for both adults and children with noise sensitivities. Please see our tech team in the back. As we navigate varying needs for health and wellness, particularly related to COVID, we welcome you to wear a mask. We have masks available at the table as you enter the building. We especially welcome newcomers and visitors this morning. Finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. Please know that we're excited to have you and look forward to getting to know you. If you would like, there are blue mugs you can use during coffee hour to signal to others that you would like them to come up and say hello. If you're not sure what to say, the Drum Allies group has come up with a question each week to help spark conversation. You can find the question posted on the coffee hour table. Additionally, we always need help in the kitchen after coffee hour, and that's a great place to see old friends and make new ones while lending a helping hand. We want to remind everyone that the sounds of children during our service are welcome. Our worship today is led by Reverend Jason Lydon, along with Jill Althage as worship associate. Music is provided by Bill Paul and Director of Music Carl Kennedy. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and the technical production. Speaking of technical production, our tech team is in need of some additional volunteers. Every week, our tech lead, Rye, coordinates with volunteers to ensure that our technology runs as smoothly as possible, both in person and virtually. You do not need to be an expert, but rather have a willingness to learn. Please see our tech folks in the back after the service. This is a vital service to our congregation. Please also stay after the service today for our essential yearly budget town hall. After that, we can head down to First Unitarian in Hyde Park for the Meadville Lombard Theological School graduation to support our very own Pip Paris and Heike Eggcart as they graduate. You can find many announcements about what is going on at church in your order of service. We encourage you to take it home after you leave the sanctuary. As we greet our neighbors this morning, let us do so in the tradition of pinky swears and interlock pinkies with one another.
Now it's time to greet your neighbor.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by a specific list of things we believe, but the values we share, where we keep love at the center. Whether you are joining us for the first time or for the 1,000th time or more, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket or purse, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you feel ready, to take a deep breath in and out. And now, rise in body or spirit and join in singing our congregational hymn, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Please remain risen and join me in reciting our covenant. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
In just a moment, Marion here in the sanctuary and Harris at the Admiral will light our chalices, the symbol of our faith. We light our chalices this morning with these words from the Reverend Julian Soto. To what have we promised ourselves? To this moment in time and place, to this community, and even tenderly interconnected, this planet. We promise ourselves to the idea that we are each and all human beings. We promise that there is something moving between us that we cannot tame and cannot measure. The chalice is a reminder that what flame we keep inside us lights the way.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to invite those young in body or spirit to join me at the chancel for our time for all ages. All right, kiddos, I'm going to ask you to look with your eyes, not your hands, and sit either on the step or down below so that I have some space up here to use these props. It is wonderful to see you all. Welcome, welcome. All right, the theme of today's service, let's make sure we're all seated so that everyone can see as best they can. The theme of today's service is around making promises. And in our pre-K and kindergarten religious education class, Spirit Play, we talk about making promises quite a bit. So for today's Time for All Ages, I'm going to lead us through a Spirit Play lesson around the promises that we make as a Unitarian Universalist community. Now, those of you that are currently in Spirit Play, I know that you know the expectations, but just a reminder for those of us for whom maybe it's been a few years, we're going to look at the props just with our eyes, not our hands, while I tell the story. All right. This is the rainbow path of our Unitarian Universalist community. We will hold up so you can see before laying it, hands off please, thank you, before laying it on the ground. And this rainbow path represents the way in which we try to live our lives. And this is the spirit of love and justice and truth, the spirit of mystery that some people call God. We use the color gold for the mystery. You know, sometimes it is hard to be in community. One person might do something that another person doesn't like. They might think someone is being unfair. In our UU community, we make promises to each other about how we are going to treat each other so that we all get along and do what's right. These promises are called our values. So we're going to start with our red triangle. Our first promise is red, for we promise to treat each person as important and special. Each person is special just by being themselves. Each person is like a gift. You are special just by being yourself. You are a gift. We don't know all the wonderful things about each other until we learn about each other, find out all of our gifts. We are all precious, so we treat each other as a little part of the mystery. Our second promise is orange, for we promise to be fair and kind in all that we do. Since we believe that all people are gifts, we need to be kind and fair to them. This heart, this orange heart, reminds us to be kind to all people. Our third promise is yellow, for we promise to accept others and learn from each of our spiritual beliefs. By thinking about ourselves and other people and learning and celebrating our differences, we are reminded by this yellow flame that we are all connected to the mystery that some people call God. Our fourth promise is green, for we promise to search for what is true and right. It's sometimes hard to decide what is true and right. So this flower reminds us that we grow as people by exploring answers to our questions. We may find different answers to the same questions, or questions that have no answers, but we keep on asking. Our fifth promise is blue, for we promise to consider other people's ideas and work together to decide what to do. Once we figure out what is right and true for us, this bell reminds us that we have to try to do what's right, not just talk about it. The bell is that little voice inside us that lets us know when something we do is right or wrong. Our sixth promise is indigo, a color that is a mix of purple and blue, for we promise to build a fair and peaceful world. We try to do what's right, and we want all people to have freedom and justice in their lives. Justice means being fair to everyone. Peace means living together in harmony. The dove reminds us of peace for all. The seventh promise is violet, a kind of purple color, for we promise to take care of the earth. We value the earth that we share with all living beings. We value each living being as a gift, just like we do people. This earth reminds us again that we are all connected in our lives. We need to be careful of what we do so that all living beings on earth will have clean water and clean air and enough places to live. We need to remember that we are only one being on the earth and that there are many others that we need to respect. The eighth promise is that we promise to make everyone feel welcome. In our Unitarian Universalist community, we value working for a diverse, multicultural, and beloved community. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 promises we make to each other to help us be in this community. They remind us that we are connected to each other and to the spirit of love or mystery, which some people call God. So that's our story around the promises that we make as a Unitarian Universalist community. Was there one particular promise that felt especially meaningful to you? I wonder if there's one promise that feels especially meaningful to you. Yes, Marion. Can you say more? What about the indigo promise felt meaningful to you? Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing. June, was there one that felt really meaningful to you? That's okay. Do you have any thoughts? Yeah, Stella.
I liked the one that had the bell.
The one that had the bell, reminding of that inner voice within ourselves to act with justice and peace for those around us. Absolutely. Yes, Lumi.
I like the earth.
Yes, and that reminder to take care of the earth and that we are interconnected with all other beings on the earth. Thanks for sharing. Yes, Ada.
I like the flowers.
Yes, you want to say more about them? No. The flowers. And Zoe, go ahead.
I like the flowers. I want them in my house.
They're pretty, aren't they? Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing with me, talking with me. Let's go ahead and sing the children to their classes.
It is so appropriate to remind you on this day that we will be talking about our budget for next year, that every year, each of you as members makes a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of this, our congregation. In addition to this pledge that you make, we also take a collection every Sunday so that we can share with those who are doing justice work beyond our walls. In just a moment, as the music plays, you'll see a phone number on your screen, and you'll also find it in your order of service, where you can do text to give. And then those who are gathered here in the sanctuary, we will pass a plate around into which you can put your change, your cash, or your checks. For the month of May, we have been sharing our plate with the organization Pushing Envelopes. And this morning, we have some more words from Steph. Come on up.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Stephanie. I volunteer with Pushing Envelopes, which, by the way, I've been wanting to be here like Pushing Envelopes Chicago is an abolitionist organization that works in support of the LGBTQ and HIV-positive incarcerated folks. We match members on the inside with pen pals and make sure that they receive their birthday cards, holiday cards, and our newsletter. Receiving mail, especially as an incarcerated person, myself, I was once, it's very important. For people on the inside who are queer and trans people, we don't have that much support on the inside. and pushing envelope does a great service for us, keeping our spirits up. It's important because communicates to others that there are people on the outside looking out for them. We also support our inside members getting out with like venture cars, groceries, helping them pay rent, sometimes getting into appointments or very, very important doctor appointments that they have to go to, or sometimes even court. We also support our outside members towards like anything that's valuable that they might need, clothes, food, in general. These expenses that you guys are giving us help us print our cards, print our newsletters, buy the postage, and like help so many people on the inside. Over 500 members that we have as of right now counting on the inside, and then not counting those on the outside. If you're interested in getting involved, we meet downstairs every third Monday to process mail for our inside members, hold a pen pal machine, and eat and have fellowship. So thank you guys for everything that you're doing for us.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on the screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I want to welcome you to join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Feel your body present in this moment. Notice your breath. No need to change how you're breathing, just notice as you bring air in and let it out. I invite you to relax your shoulders. Adjust your neck to make yourself comfortable in this moment. Unclench that beautiful jaw of yours and just continue to breathe. us rest ourselves in feelings of gratitude. Thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of our earth, including the birds chirping, and the strength of this, our community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addiction or illness, seen and unseen. We're with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, we're with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty, particularly those living in tents in our streets, for immigrants and refugees who are fleeing and seeking, finding new homes in our city amongst many, we are with you. We pray for all those living in harm's way, particularly those navigating gun violence. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate chaos. As war and genocide continue, we pray that wisdom, compassion, and empathy guide the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are truly blessed by those who are encountering the final stages of life. We offer prayers of comfort and care, knowing that this journey is far from easy. Into this, our shared silence across space, I invite you to speak aloud the names of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of our community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen, and blessed be. During our ritual of lighting candles for joys and concerns, we want to continue to take care of ourselves and one another. In the 2U sanctuary, I'll invite you forward in a moment, and you can come forward to light a candle. And as you end your time of contemplation and candle lighting, we invite you to use the hand sanitizer available. For those of us at the Admiral, I invite you to come forward and take a pebble from one bowl, hold it tightly in your hand, putting your energy into the stone, and then knowing your joys and sorrows to be shared by this community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. And for those of us on Zoom, we welcome you to share your joys and sorrows in our chat window. all of these, our shared joys, celebrations, concerns, and struggles close to our hearts. Jill, would you share our first reading, please?
Our two readings this morning are excerpts from The Tiger and the Lamb, an essay on covenant printed in the UU World magazine in October of 2008 by Reverend Dennis McCarty. Unitarian Universalist theologian Reverend James Luther Adams emphasized 5 important points about covenants. First, human beings are at our best when we make solemn promises to one another and try hard to keep them. We are the only animal that makes promises. We are promise-making, promise-keeping, promise-breaking, and promise-renewing creatures. Our very humanity lies in the way we carry our promises to our families, our co-workers, our neighbors, and our fellow members of the human family. His second point is that to be genuine, a covenant must be a covenant of being. It's not just about good words, but about actions. Third, the covenant exists for the sake of each individual as well as for the whole group. It is both a gift and a responsibility. The individual is brought into a just relationship with the rest of the group, but each individual is also responsible for what the whole group does. If what my church or my nation does is wrong, I share in that responsibility. Again, it's not just about blaming one person, one faction, or one political party. It's not enough just to say, I didn't know what was going on, or there's nothing I can do about it. My covenantal duty is to be informed on what is happening and to act on that information. Fourth, Adams says the covenantal responsibility is especially directed towards the deprived. Covenantal living demands that we pay attention to those who suffer from society's neglect or injustice, from war and horrorism, from the predation of tigers and the disengagement of lambs, and that we do something about it.
Continuing from this essay, Adams also reminds us of the difference that can exist between our covenant, our expressed ideals of how we want to live together, and our actions. One task of the covenantal church is to call attention to the gap between our high-sounding words and our low actions. Finally, Adams makes the point that the covenant is not fundamentally a legal covenant. It depends on faithfulness. And faithfulness is nerved by loyalty, by love. In other words, covenantal living is not about obeying the letter of the law while we take advantage of someone. Violation of a covenant is a serious issue, not because it breaks a law, but because it's a violation of trust. It's a breach in faith. We make promises to one another. We do the best we can. Even to make a serious promise is a real expression of faith, not only in the person we promise this to, but also that the future is worth saving. That at its best, the future can and will be better than the past. To make promises calls forth the best in us. But we're human, and we make mistakes. Promises get broken, so we try again. Covenantal faith does not ask us to be perfect. It asks us to look at our own mistakes and shortcomings and try earnestly to correct them. Let us hear our anthem.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, beloved. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, children. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, children. Where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie, children. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, children. Where you lie, I will lie. Your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, ancestors. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, ancestors. Where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie, ancestors. Where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie, ancestors. Where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine.
Your people are my people. Because all people are our people. A great covenant between us. So as we prepare to dig more deeply into our focus on covenant this morning, I want to share some exciting news with you. As most of you know, I will be away from July 1st until October 15th for a combination of vacation and sabbatical time. We are well practiced with having a minister away for 1 month during the summer, and we have amazing lay leaders and staff who are experts at keeping things going. Count yourselves among them. From August 1st until October 15th, we will have a half-time sabbatical minister filling in. This person will be responsible for nurturing and supporting our congregation during my time away. The personnel committee of the board and I interviewed a number of candidates and had a very important decision to make. Most important in my mind was ensuring that the leader we chose demonstrated skills capable of loving our community. And so it's with great enthusiasm that I announce our choice, the Reverend Allison Farnham. I have been blessed to know Reverend Allison since 2019 and have the utmost respect for her. How blessed we were hearing her voice singing along with us just last Sunday. Far more information about Reverend Allison is forthcoming, though she did send me a short bio and a brief note she wanted to share with the congregation that I want to share with you now. Reverend Allison Farnham, who uses she and her pronouns, is the director and minister of the Unitarian Universalist Prison Ministry of Illinois and an affiliated community minister with our church. Before UUPMI, she served the UU congregation of Fort Myers in Southwest Florida. Reverend Allison is part of the UU Ministers Association and participated in the local Chicago chapter. She has also taken a sabbatical herself in 2014. She lives with her husband, 2 children, cats, and guinea pigs in Evanston. Ask her about her tap dancing. And so here's her message to you. To you with great rejoicing, I am delighted to join you for your sabbatical time. I'm grateful to Rev J and the sabbatical hiring team for this opportunity. I grew up as a young adult at 2U and credit this community for nurturing my call to ministry. I think of sabbatical ministry with you to be in service of the sacred, Unitarian Universalism, and Reverend Jason's ministry with you and the community. I have a deep sense of trust when I think about the ministry Reverend Allison will offer our congregation. And I trust you all to welcome her with similar love and care. I trust her to hold you all with tenderness during a time when you so deserve it. I trust your shared relationship to be one that flourishes and ensures that the lights are not just kept on at 2U, the ministry, of this vital community will continue strong. When a settled minister goes on sabbatical, there are aspects of sabbatical life that can be embraced by the congregation as well. I get to focus my months on learning, resting, and spiritually grounding myself to rejuvenate. What if you took the time to do the same? How might your time with Reverend Allison best be used? With new ministers comes new ways of being. With new ministries comes new opportunities. The newness need not always be about building something new. It can be about resting, learning, and feeling spiritually alive. Covenant is very alive in the story of our sabbatical ministry time. 2U and I are living into our covenant together as I'm granted this time away, time that we agreed to when I first started here. Reverend Allison and I are embracing a covenant with one another where we respect each other's gifts and vision of what a successful sabbatical ministry might look like. Reverend Allison is going to build a covenant with our board as she strives to offer ministry in a way that is directly accountable to our leadership. And certainly, there is a covenantal relationship between you all, this congregation, and Reverend Allison. You all are promising to come to the table and live into your Unitarian Universalism together. And you're promising to fill your seats. Reverend Allison is promising to accompany you over these months with a dedication to our shared faith and a commitment to continuing the other ministries she is responsible for. Promises encircle so many relationships within this community, and we're blessed for it. Truly, Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal tradition. So one of my favorite covenants out there is the pinky swear. And you did such a good job of it this morning, even when you were feeling a little silly. According to the Cardinal Chronicle, the pinky promise or pinky swear is thought to have been in the US since around 1860, when it was recorded in Bartlett's Dictionary for Americanisms. Though unknown how or when it was changed, the practice most likely came to the US through immigrants and film. I wonder if you know that the heritage of this practice is a little more violent than the sweet practice we embraced this morning. The practice of the pinky swear dates back to 18th century Japan. The practice is called yubikiri, meaning to cut off the finger. So this punishment-based response to promise breaking, it might not be the most universalist of practices, and it highlights the importance of a promise. There are indeed consequences when promises are broken. Now, these consequences hopefully are not as obvious as losing a finger, but when promises are broken, hurt is present. The broken trust is there, and the need for healing is evident. When's the last time you made a pinky promise? We practiced the gesture this morning, but the art of a pinky swear is much more than just the interlocking of pinkies. I can remember making a pinky swear with my niece just last summer. We were walking back to the lake in New Hampshire, White Mountains, and we passed an ice cream shop. We didn't have time to stop as we were off to meet our family. My niece looked at me intently and asked, "Well, then, can we at least get ice cream later?" I replied quickly and confidently, "Absolutely." "Pinky swear," she responded. And so I reached down to her little hand, intertwining my pinky with hers, our different sized knuckles doing their best to hold on to one another. "Pinky swear," I said in return. A promise to get ice cream may not seem like a big deal to you, but you would be wrong. Not only is this a key promise to keep to the sugar-excited 7-year-old, if someone told me they were going to get me ice cream, they better do it, or there'd be consequences. When my niece asked me to pinky swear, she was looking for a symbol of my promise. She was looking for something that would bind me to the commitment that I just made. A pinky swear may not be a legally binding contract, but without a strong pinky swear, so many playground friendships would have fallen apart. And central to it all is trust. I would go so far as to argue that promises are not possible without a degree of faith. We've all had promises kept and know how good that feels. So too have we all experienced broken promises. And it hurts. And we keep making promises, even when we know they've been broken in the past. And we do so because, as we heard in our reading, humans are a promise-making, promise-keeping, promise-breaking, and promise-renewing creature. There's much to learn about the practice of covenanting from religious communities. Some of the earliest known religious covenants come from our Jewish siblings. In Exodus, the second book of the Torah, the covenant between God and God's people is articulated. Through the leadership of Moses, the covenant between God and God's people becomes known. And the Torah offers these words, and I will share them with you. God said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain and wait there. I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and the commandment which I have written for their instruction." So Moses set out with his assistant Joshua, and Moses went up onto the mountaintop to God. To the elders he had said, "Wait here for us until we come back to you. Look, Aaron and Hur are with you. Whoever has a dispute may go to them." Then Moses went up the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. The glory of God settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. And on the seventh day, God called to Moses out of the cloud. Now the appearance of the glory of God was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain in the sight of the Israelites. Moses entered the cloud and went up on the mountain, and Moses was on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. In this Torah story, God was promising to protect God's people in exchange for obedience to the commandments set forth by God. It's not exactly an equal relationship, humans and God. And the structure of the covenant isn't horizontal. The lessons about covenants, though, they're still present. Promises can be divine. Promises require trust. Promises require accountability. The God of the Torah breaks this covenant with the Israelites multiple times, and the Israelites break this covenant with God as well. But they keep returning to the relationship. They keep trying. They're committed to one another, and the promise-renewing process deepens in its meaning and in its complexity over generations and generations and generations. Now, this covenant between God and the Jewish people continues to be the subject of much discussion and debate thousands of years later. How can there be a chosen people of God? How can the chosen people of God experience millennia of oppression, discrimination, and genocide? If God is just and God is in relationship with humanity through covenant, what then can be said of God and God's behavior? Jewish scholar Irving Greenberg offers an essential and challenging declaration following reflection on genocidal treatment of Jewish people and countless others. "Let us agree to one principle," he writes. no statement, theological or otherwise, should be made that would not be credible in the presence of burning children. Hard words to hear from the pulpit and necessary words when reflecting on the role of covenant between the divine and humanity, between humans and the earth. This quote could just as easily end with a declaration that nothing should be said that would not be credible in the face of environmental destruction, racialized violence, intimate partner abuse, and any of the injustices of the world. Is God fulfilling God's side of the covenant? And for those of us who don't necessarily believe in God and God language doesn't work for us, are we fulfilling the end of any of the covenants, or all of the covenants, or the divine covenants that we embark upon? Within Unitarian Universalism, most congregations have their own covenant that is commonly recited during worship, just as we do here. This is a vital covenant that clarifies the way that we will be with one another in our specific congregation. The values that are printed in your order of service, values affirmed by our General Assembly last year, and values that you will vote on for our bylaws here at 2U during our annual meeting, these values are the articulated covenant that we as UUs engage in with all other Unitarian Universalists and how we relate to the world around us. We're not called to believe in these values, but to believe in one another and to hold these values as an invitation to practice and live into them, as our reading said, to act. This relationality, this is what makes Unitarian Universalism a covenantal religion. While we may challenge the hierarchies of covenants entered into with unequal power, we must understand the religious heritage of these covenants between God and God's faithful. While I might be a non-theistic person, how amazing is it that the God of the Torah is a flawed God? The God of the Torah makes errors. The God of the Torah must right relationship with those that God has chosen to love. I wonder if parents can understand this power differential. Maybe teachers and social workers can understand this dynamic. Maybe those with supervisory roles at work can understand this complexity, or clergy understand the ways that this dynamic can be challenging. We may not, you may not be God, or depending on your theology, maybe we're all God. And yet you understand what it means to make a promise when you are in a place of power. When I made my pinky promise with my niece, I knew that I was the one with the money. I was the adult that would accompany her on the walk down the street later. I was the one who would make the final decision. And I made a promise. I made a commitment. If I wish to teach the power of trust, if I wish to earn trust, if I wish to inspire faith in others, I must live into the promises that I make. I encourage you to make a pinky swear with someone this week. Maybe someone tiny and small and wonderful. Maybe your partner, maybe a friend. Make it with someone you know well, someone who trusts you, someone that you trust. Embrace symbols of covenant, symbols like our chalice, symbols like this gentle relating to one another's bodies with your pinkies. Symbols that remind us of our promises, help us focus on our responsibilities, and can offer a focal point when promises are hard to keep. those who have exchanged rings in their lives may know what it's like to have this symbol. To reiterate James Luther Adams again, human beings are at our best when we make solemn promises to one another and try hard to keep them. So keep making promises. The people around you, they deserve them. And so do you. And we can do this just a step at a time. Just one more movement forward. And so I invite you to rise in body to sing our closing hymn, number 168, One More Step. I invite you to rest your hands upon your heart or clasp hands with those you are sharing your life with. And as Jill extinguishes our chalice, hear these words again from our reading. We make promises to one another. We do the best we can. Even to make a serious promise is a real expression of faith, not only in the person we promise to, but that the future is worth saving. That at its best, the future can and will be better than the past. To make promises calls forth the best that is in us. Go in peace, beloveds. Shortly, we will have our budget meeting, so grab a snack and come right back in.